Montgomery Kopech. Here it comes. A swing and a smash to first by the diving Vaughn. Down the right field line. Kicks into the corner. Ramirez on his way to second. Head first slide. Safe and in to score is Jimenez. And another hustle double. Right over the bag at first. Now Hosey and Anderson square off. They're fighting. They're swinging. Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson. Ramirez went in with a head-first slide. Hosey never gets upset about anything. They came up chewing. Anderson squared off. Hosey decked him. It's a 5-1 Chicago lead, but everybody from the dugouts and the bullpens congregated around second base. You never see Jose Ramirez get upset like that. And Tim Anderson was on the wrong side of that punch.
Well, and he's snooping around trying to get back at him. It's too late. Ramirez got him. Too late.
And we'll see how this is all sorted out. Hosey went in with a head-first slide, and it was a bang-bang play at second. Not sure what was said that prompted it, but Hosey popped up immediately. He said something. The next thing you know, Anderson squared off, and Jose Ramirez decked him. And now Anderson's being dragged to the first base dugout. Well, Tim Anderson doesn't want any advice right now, but the advice would be, don't mess with Jose Ramirez. You've already learned once the hard way. Everybody else, for the most part, is just kind of standing around. Well, the fans that came for Rock and Blast, and now here we go again. It's at the mound, and the manager, Tito Francona, and Pedro Grifol pointing fingers at each other and being separated. And everybody now goes to the pitcher's mound. So this escalated after it de-escalated. And now the two managers are now, we got another scrum at the first base foul line. And here comes another blast. Gonzalez trying to get in it. And hobbling out of there and injured is Jimenez. And we have got scrums all over the field, breaking up in different areas around the first base foul line. And this is one of the few times you're truly seeing a baseball brawl. Normally it's a lot of shouting, a lot of pointing fingers, but this one had numerous skirmishes that have been broken up and then restarted. And when Tito and Grifol got after it, that's when it started up around the pitcher's mound, then moved to the first base foul line. And Anderson's back out of the dugout, and he is nearly being tackled by his teammates. He's being carried off the field by Andrew Vaughn. And this thing is going to take a little while now to get sorted out. There were so many skirmishes that broke out, and now injured in all of this was Eloy Jimenez, who's had a history of not being able to stay healthy, and something happened to Jimenez with a leg or a foot that he had to hobble off the field. Meanwhile, Jose Ramirez is going back out to second base. And we have got more pushing and shoving. Now Emmanuel Clase is being dragged out of there by his teammates. It's Josh Naylor dragging Clase out of there with an oblique injury. And we have not seen anything remotely like this with the escalation that took place numerous times. And the guys that are going to have to sort this all out, the 4 umpires have got their work cut out for them. Ramirez, meanwhile, is out at second base. Obviously, there are going to be people thrown out of this game. And one would imagine that both Anderson and Jose will be thrown out, but we'll have to wait and see. But you think these two ball clubs have mailed it in here tonight?
And Tom, you wonder how much of this with the White Sox is just a season gone horribly wrong, and you have a Guardians ball club that has had a rough week, and it just all boiled over, and it just never seemed to stop. The umpires just couldn't get control because there is too much going on.
And it all started on a hustle double down the right field line into the corner by Jose Ramirez, scoring Andres Jimenez from second to make it a 5-1 game. A bang-bang play at second. Jose went in head first. He didn't go in spikes first, but something was said between the two, Tim Anderson and Jose Ramirez, and Ramirez popped up immediately, and suddenly Tim Anderson squared up like he was in a boxing match, and Jose Ramirez decked him with a punch. And then by that time we had everybody involved, and then more skirmishes broke out, including the two managers that had to be separated at the pitcher's mound. And now the 4 umpires trying to figure out who gets tossed, who stays in. And this is one time you can't go to New York for a replay review.
Tom, have you ever seen, I don't recall seeing a baseball fight where someone actually squared off and it looked like they were in the ring, Tyson against whoever. I mean, that was.
But if you're going to do that,
you better get the first shot in.
Anderson did not. And
no.
Down he went.
Oh, my goodness. And his pride, I think that's why he wanted to keep coming out, because his jaw might hurt, but I think his pride was hurt worse.
So now the umpires are meeting in front of the home plate area in that dirt cutout area. Obviously, there are going to be players thrown out, and who knows who else. Meanwhile, Jose Ramirez is kneeling on the base at second. Jose with his 27th double and 65th RBI. Well, look, you've got two fierce competitors in Jose Ramirez and Tim Anderson. And look, things get heated in the course of an athletic competition, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, Lord knows hockey. And now running out to Jose Ramirez with a bottle of water is Tristan McKenzie. Tristan just being a good teammate, but you've got two fierce competitors in Anderson and Ramirez. We don't know what was said. We're not laying blame on anybody, because how would we know up here? But holy smokes, normally a baseball brawl is a misnomer. It's a baseball shoving and shouting match. This had a lot of swings going in at various points when you thought it was breaking up, and it was restarted. Now Pedro Grifol is out talking to the umpires on the first baseline. He's the rookie manager for Chicago. And boy, did it get heated between Pedro Grifol and Tito Francona by the pitcher's mound, and then they had to be separated. Not quite certain what is being discussed right now, unless they're telling Pedro who is out, and now they're going to come and tell Tito who is out of this game as Tito comes out of the third base dugout. By the way, the White Sox lead this game 5-1 here in the sixth inning. Cleveland's got a runner, Jose Ramirez at second. At least it's Jose for the time being. There is one down. But there was a time when Pedro Martinez, who had a reputation for drilling guys, especially it seemed like when it came to Cleveland, he drilled the wrong guy, Manny Ramirez, and Manny charged the mound. And Pedro backpedaled into the outfield quicker than any NFL cornerback. and then quickly disappeared into the Boston dugout. I don't think anybody wanted Manny Ramirez charging them when they were pitching. Now Tito looks like it's getting heated with him and the umpires because he is being told, I'm guessing, that Jose Ramirez is out of this game. You almost assume that Anderson and Ramirez are both going to get tossed, and from that point on, I don't know what. I know one thing right now about the discussion going on with Tito. Malachi Moore is staying out of it because last night Tito, after the game, said Malachi Moore needs to practice more as an umpire, and he didn't mean get involved in an argument. And so now the umpires, again, are walking over to the White Sox first base dugout, and out comes their manager, Pedro Grifol. So that's their second meeting with Grifol. They've already met with Tito. Here comes Jose walking toward the third base dugout. You knew that was inevitable. You knew that it would be Jose and Tim Anderson both ejected for sure. That just seemed to be the thing that would have to happen. And now Jose's getting a standing ovation. Now, there's nobody that plays with greater intensity, greater passion than Jose Ramirez. And if you ask the White Sox, they feel the same way about Tim Anderson. And again, in the heat of the battle, things happen. And we shall see what the end result is now. The White Sox are going to come back out onto the field. How about the folks that came to tonight's game? They get a free, I don't know, some kind of a backpack or whatever.
A weekender bag.
Get cheap beer. They got a live concert coming up, and they've got Rockin' Blast.
And a fight broke out.
And a fight. So, doesn't get much better than that. Well, I'll tell you what, we just saw a replay. Posey landed one to the jaw of Tim Anderson. I'll tell you what, for two guys, both of them squared up. And I think both of them looked like they had done this before.
Yeah, and I think both landed to some extent. Posey seemingly a lot stronger than Anderson, but good stuff right there. Well, Mike Sarbaugh got into it at one point, too. Third base.
Well, who didn't get into it?
That's true.
So, Elvis Andrus will going to go from second to short. Zach Remillard is going to go from third to second. And the new third baseman, Yohan Moncada. Both Tito and Pedro Grifol have been ejected from this game. So the two combatants, Tim Anderson and Jose Ramirez, have both been ejected, and the two managers have both been ejected. And after that, you might not have been able to finish the game if you ejected everybody else that was involved in what is one of the best baseball Donniebrooks that we have ever seen.